Usually we hear this gospel if you get a chance to go to Mass during Thanksgiving. It's always the gospel of Thanksgiving. And it's about the 10 lepers. All 10 were healed. But only one received the gift of salvation. Let's take a look in details. 9 of the 10 lepers whom Jesus did heal did not get the full meaning of their encounter with him. They certainly believed that Jesus had the power to heal them of whatever makes them unclean and undirty. And for leprosy, in our time, it could be anyone with AIDS, or homeless, or without documentation, illegally in the U.S. So these 9 understood that part of their healing means they can be received into the community. They don't have to carry the bell walking around that says, cast out, leprosy. And everybody would run away from them. They know that they can be reunited with their family. They know that they don't have to be they're no longer contagious and make other people unclean. And maybe they were surprised at their joy of being so cleansed that they might say, hey, it's about time. Hey, maybe I deserve this. Maybe I'm just a good person. And maybe they didn't think about it at all. One of them, however, the Samaritan, the actual outcast, the outsider, he understood. He understood that the healing he received had nothing to do with his own effort, complete, free, utter gift. An expression of love which surpasses all of his expectations, all of his wildest hopes and dreams. And so he returned to the one who healed him, and he got down to praise him, and he thanked Jesus. And what did Jesus say? Sure, he said, where are the other 9? But in this profound sense of gratitude, he encountered Jesus in his fullness. And what did Jesus give him? Not just healing, salvation. Go in peace. Your faith has saved you. Now, salvation here is not just what happens to us in the next life. Salvation in the gospel is fullness of life, a sense of well-being. It doesn't mean that everything will go nice and dandy. It doesn't mean that we won't suffer in life. It means our life will be with greater meaning and purpose. Salvation. So the Samaritan, in gratitude, received not only healing like the 9, he received fullness of life. Because gratitude is the gateway to God. Because gratitude is the great way to fullness of life. In a world in which we designate Thanksgiving as a time to give thanks, which is a great, great holiday, in a world where hallmarks or other people tell us when we can show gratitude, we're not always a people of gratitude, no? I'm going to embarrass some of the people in Trinity Young Adult Ministry. This one person, out of the blue, gave another guy, something. It was a nice gift, and the gift that the other guy wanted it, but he's like, why you give me this? What do you want in return? What are you looking for? So why is it that when people are so nice to us, we're like, what do you want from me? Is there a catch to this? We live in that kind of culture, kind of cynical. Oh, how's that person so nice to me? We can't receive it because we live in a culture replete with the challenge of these kind of attitude. what I would call the attitude of gratitude and the attitude of getting. This attitude, the saints talked about, all is gift. Even the things I don't really like, nor want, or the people in my life, which gives me grief. On this one, I gotta get it before the other people have it. I have to ensure it. I have to protect. I have to get. And so we fall into the temptation of what? A life of entitlement. I work hard, I should deserve this. We fall into a life of, I deserve this. Or, woe is me, it's about time. Or, I did this. Or, I'm not good enough. Ultimately, this attitude of getting or grabbing, an attitude of an illusion of control, which you and I are caught into. And the other 9, in some ways, are caught into that. And probably 90% of the time, a lot of us are caught into this. And so Jesus tells us and challenges us that salvation is this posture of life, of receiving. Because even though we own things according to the IRS, we enter the world empty-handed and naked, and we leave the world empty-handed and naked. And the only thing we can take to the next life is how we are loved and how we are grateful. The rest, can we ever take with us? And so the heart of today's gospel is the heart of Mass. Gratitude. Gratitude. And Eucharist means to give thanks. And Catholics and Christians are people who give thanks. Thanks for the so many blessings of life that God gives us. Thanks for the gift of faith that we could say that even though other people may leave me, may misunderstand you, Lord, I belong to you. And though you may be hiding, or you may be in the background, or you may not show yourself, help me to trust that you are for me and not against me. That if you ask me to surrender control, it's because you have a big fat gift in life, the fullness of life you want me to receive. St. Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits, says that he really believes that the root of our sin is ingratitude. Certainly is in my life. When I go to confession now, this is a time of confession, I oftentimes say, I'm so ungrateful because I take so granted. I think it's about me, or I think I'm alone. And why? Because when something wonderful happens in our life, we cling to it and we think it's ours. Or something bad happens, oh, woe is me. But actually, for St. Ignatius, the gift is meant to bring us to the giver, God. So whatever gift we have in our life, they're meant to draw us into the one who provides. And if these gifts change form, if these gifts go away, or as we say, taken back, which God never does, then can we trust that the one who gives us these gifts without us deserving, without us even imagining we need, that one will provide for us? Sure, in the meantime, we have to go to a letting go of control so that we can receive more, because this attitude, you and I know, how far does that get us? Because it's like this. It is not a gateway into greater life, into God, into love. I'll close with 2 stories. A man was begging in a city park. Someone approached and asked him whether people were giving generously. The blind man shook a nearly empty can. A visitor said to him, "Let me write something on your cord." The blind man agreed. That evening, the visitor returned. "Well, how were things today?" The blind man showed him the can full of money and asked, "What on earth did you write in that cord?" And the other person said, "I merely wrote, 'Today is a spring day, and I am blind.'" Today is a spring day, and I am blind. When I go to a homeless person and he or she says, "Thanks be to God, thanks be to the divine," my posture is very different than when someone says, "I need help, I need help." Isn't it true? When someone comes to us with gratitude, it opens us to something greater. But when someone comes to us with like this thing, we shut up. This is the posture. I'm a Jesuit. Like many of us, I live a privileged life. And when I was in the Philippines, I lived at a place like LMU, but it was called the Ateneo, a Jesuit university. And below it and around it, many poor people. Yes, Jesuits are very paradoxical. And when I was there for a whole year, it was hard. It was hard for me to say, look at my education, look at where I live, look at all the opportunity I have. And as soon as I walk out on the street, all these people selling zampazitas, those sweet-smelling flowers. It was hard. Until one day, I went to a shanty town. I went into a little hut, a little place, smaller than this area. And it was so smelly because the bathroom is inside. And I almost fainted. And I talked to a little girl, 8-year-old girl named Anna. And all she did was, she asked, "Where did you live?" And now, guilt. I live in that place. And she says, her eyes widen, and she says, "Oh, I know that place. My mom and I sell those flowers outside." But her eyes of wonder and not of shaming opened my eyes. And in a small instant of trying to be present to her, I received a great gift. And the gift is this. Tree, have you really received the gift of your education? Have you really received the gift of where you live? Have you really received the gift of being trained as a Jesuit? And when you do, it's just going to overflow, and you will know how to give back. And then I realized it took that 8-year-old girl, Anna, to help me receive which has always been there all of my life. And now I'm a little more generous to give what I have freely received. Because without gratitude, we have never truly received, and we think we own. And without fully received, it's hard for us to give, because we only think of it as loss. There are two moments in this Mass. It will come up when we get a chance to do this. One is the offertory. It's this posture. So whatever is going on in your life that you're grateful for, whatever is going on in your life that you need God's help, imagine whether you put the money into the offertory or not. Imagine when the gift comes up and when I lift up the simple gifts of bread and wine. Imagine yourself lifting this up. Whatever that person, that someone, that thing you're concerned with, you worry about, and give that to God. And when you receive communion, whether to a blessing or actually receive the very presence, the very essence of God, receive. And like the Samaritan blind leper, like Naaman, allow our gratitude to fill us up so we can truly praise and thank God. Because very soon I'm going to say, let us give thanks to the Lord our God. And you're going to respond, it is right to give thanks and praise. Unless we are people of gratitude, those are just words. When we become people with the attitude of gratitude, fullness of life will flow, and we will know more than ever how to share what God so abundantly blesses you and I.